I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined by a very familiar face in the industry and one of my good buddies, John Wright, Marketing Manager for GoodWe Australia. Hello, John. How are we?
I'm good, Rosh. Good morning.
Good morning indeed. I like to say it's a lovely sunny morning, but it's not. We've had torrential rainstorms. We almost had no internet for the first 2 hours whilst Liverpool were playing, so I was very annoyed. And but my handheld device held up, and we have bandwidth, so now I am happy.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'm currently baking under endless Melbourne sun, wishing for rain. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm a pond, so I'm not cut out for this. I'm really not.
Like this is the problem with us both being English. You know, you come here because you want the sun and the beaches, and then you get the sun, and it's like, wow, it's hot. It's hot. Well, I know Melbourne's been very, very hot. Good old global warming. It's keeping us on our toes. So it's I've got torrential storms. You've got 40, almost 40-degree heat. It's an interesting mix. John, as you know, TV shows coming up. It's awesome. We're super excited. This week we're featuring GoodWe as one of our major sponsors. It's always a delight to work with you guys. But I guess what's really sort of inspired me in these particular segments that we're featuring on this season's show are how far you guys have gone in terms of not just supplying amazing technology and amazing product to homes and businesses, but looking at projects that you can really make a difference to, and just also take it to another level and think, well, it's all well and good having great tech and helping other projects, but let's really go down to the root cause and actually start on the education process. And we have talked about education in the past, but really, seeing firsthand what you guys have actually done on this particular episode is amazing. So we'll get to that in a second. But before we do, a little bit of background on yourself for those who don't know you. Just introduce yourself, who you are, who you work for, and how you got to GoodWe.
So yeah, I've been in Australia for about 10 years now. Actually, no, just surpassed that. I'm past 10 years.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Before then, I was in the UK. I also lived in Dubai for a few years as well. Always been in the marketing industry and particularly for business to business, so engineering and technology companies. And when I came to Australia, I was obviously job hunting and kind of stumbled into the solar industry and stayed ever since. I think that's definitely a trait in the solar industry. I think once you're in, you can't really get out. But it's great. I love the industry. It's always interesting. There's always opportunities, and it's always positive as well because the technology is used for a good purpose. So yeah, I was first with a distributor, and then I moved to an Australian-made inverter manufacturer, and then for the past 3 years, I've been with GoodWe, heading up the marketing for the Australia and New Zealand regions.
And you've done a cracking job as well. One of the things I've always, complimented you on is innovation. We've both been in marketing for many, many years, and it's really difficult to, come up with new strategies, new ways of, promoting that brand. But I think what I love most about what you've done is it's not just about finding different ways of promoting the GoodWe brand, but it's also making a difference along the way. And that brings me to the project that you're currently working on, which is the EcoSmart Kids, which is on this week's episode of Energy Matters. Can you tell me a little bit more about this particular project and where it came and how you dreamt it up?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for the compliment. I'll give you that $10 later, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think EcoSmart Kids came about as something between. It was something that I did in the past in a different form, much smaller form, back in the UK, and it was a competition format. I thought, oh, that could be applied somewhere else, and it was always something that stuck in the back of my head. And then when I first joined GoodWe, one of the first projects we did was launching a roadshow vehicle. We call it a Smart Innovation Vehicle. And in a post-COVID world, this is something that we created to tour the country with for the industry to benefit from as both a sales tool, a networking tool, a training platform, and something a little different as well. It draws a crowd. It's powered by our energy storage, so people can see it in action. We can flip a switch and show people how backup power is instantaneous to keep emergency circuits going. So I think that was very important to us, for it to be a versatile vehicle for everyone to use and benefit from. And we've done over 100 events, well over 100 events in the past few years with it. And we saw an opportunity to use it for something for the community as well, something a little different. And that's where my idea came in, and created EcoSmart Kids. So what we thought was that there was an opportunity, particularly in the education sector, to make children a bit more aware about what climate change is doing, how they can help the environment, and also demonstrate and show them just how solar power works. Because, you know, kids see solar panels everywhere. You know, they're on, you know, a lot of rooftops, and they see them, but they may not understand what it is that they actually do. And something visiting a school is always a novelty, so we thought taking the truck to them, it's gonna pique their interest. So we created an interactive workshop that told them all about those core elements. And the aim really was to inform and inspire, not preach, not teach, just, you know, fire their imagination, tell them what is actually going on out there, and, you know, how they can help, and once they see the impact, or how they can have a positive impact on the environment.
One thing I loved about the program, and I was, as you'll see on the episode this week, I got to attend an actual school and a workshop. So I knew I was going to make the actual awards, which we'll talk about in a sec as well. But I got to attend the workshop. Now, firstly, obviously, you know, in being in a school, you're dealing with it being in a school. So obviously it's happening throughout the daytime. You're doing different classes at different times. And there's a whole bunch of, when it's especially lunchtime, we're having a chat and filming an interview. And it was absolutely deafening, right? Absolutely deafening. But I was super impressed with how composed you guys were in terms of delivering the workshop. So certainly old hands at doing what you were doing. But I think what I loved about it the most was just, you know, really appealing to all the different senses. So really proper teaching, right? Not just visual or auditory, but kinesthetic, you know, really getting people involved, putting their hands up, lots and lots of engagement. So really, in terms of the design of the course, I mean, how did you get it to be so effective?
Well, fortunately, I've got some friends who are teachers, and they were really gracious with their time, and we created some of the content, and we sort of collaborated with them and made sure that what we delivered was relevant to the audience we were going for, which was grades 2 to 6. We thought that was that sweet spot in primary education where these messages could be conveyed, and there wasn't any sort of cynicism or sort of reluctance, or if, like, you know, if it was a teenager audience, I think it'd be a lot harder. I think there'd be not resistance, but thinking that, oh, I'm above this, I'm too old for this, that kind of thing. We thought the grades 2 to 6 age group was relevant, and we could be as versatile as we could with the content, you know, make it so that the content provided something for everyone. We even had the teachers comment saying, oh, they learnt a few things as well, which is great. It's good. We want it to be community based. So yeah, the teachers helped a lot in developing the course content and making sure it was effective as it possibly could be. Visually engaging, we use an animator as well to really animate and make it very fast moving, keeping the level of engagement high and keeping the attention span, and chopping up those workshops with interactive questions and feedback as well. Like, you know, asking kids, okay, what do you think? What could we do about this? What do you think you could do to help the environment? You know, like, how could we use solar? You know, just putting the questions out to them. And quite frankly, more often than not, we were astounded by some of their answers and their insights, because I think kids are a lot smarter than people tend to realize. You know, they're always sponging up information, and they're quite, you know, aware and astute of things in their daily life.
They really are. And like, you know, like, without sort of embarrassing my daughter, I mean, she's now turned 14. And despite my role in the fact that I've worked in energy now for like 25 years and renewables for, you know, 15 years, like her level of knowledge was so low. I was so surprised. So really, as a result of your EcoSmart Kids, and you know this already, but Coco obviously, studied your course and got her head across it to understand more and more about renewable energy technology, climate change, and global warming. And I think the primary reason for that was when I set her the challenge to what do you actually know? What have you been taught at school? For all the way through primary into the early stages of high school, there was little to no education, and maybe there was, and she just went straight over her head, but she didn't retain really much at all. Only what she knew from what I do for a living and watching different TV shows that I'm talking about, which are more technology orientated, to be fair, until now. So really it was quite not disheartening, but it was a real eye opener, which really then compounded how important it is that you guys are running this education program. I mean, my only hope is when people see this on TV and actually pay attention to it, different schools will actually then start to ask themselves the question as to, well, what can we add to the syllabus to actually start to educate the kids, and potentially, GoodWe could form a massive part of that on a national level, which kind of takes me to another question. I mean, how do you actually pick the schools? I mean, how was that process managed, and how do you get the school engagement?
Well, I think initially for the first run, it was kind of hard because obviously it's unproven, it's untested. And again, thankfully, I had one or two teacher friends, so we're able to get into one school, which was great. And then from there, it was just identifying and trying to get to the right people. And obviously, initially, you want to be polite and send through the information pack, and getting through that barrier where they think there's a catch or it's a scam or they want money. That was and still is the hardest part, when we tried to tell them, no, this is completely free, there is no catch, we're not doing this for an ulterior motive, this is a tool that we have and we've developed purely for the kids' benefit and enjoyment. And then I think once they realize that, that's great. We have a lot of schools that we've worked with that are very active with sustainability. And on the flip side, which is also not that we wanted to challenge, but we thought, no, we'd love to try schools that haven't really looked into sustainability, especially ones in regions where they're close to coal-fired plants. So, the communities there are very sort of, they're skewed to one way of thinking about things. And we found that particularly challenging. But we wanted to give it a try and just to try and let the schools see what this is all about. We're not trying to brainwash or anything. We're just providing facts and interesting information, and they can do with it as they wish. And as I say, it's been an eye opener. We've noticed some schools, particularly the one you visited, have very active sustainability plans. And not just with renewables, it's through recycling, composting gardens, teaching the kids about all various different ways of doing things in a better way that reduce waste. And some schools obviously don't have the capacity or the funds to add solar to their own buildings, so we're just trying to help the kids realize what is out there, and this is what the technology does.
Yeah, I did a lot of work with schools a few years ago, more so on commercial solar, and in Victoria. And really, what was clear to me was everything's budget orientated, right? They get such limited budget to do anything, like even add to the school. It's incredibly difficult. So even adding a program like this, they think, oh no, what's the investment? And the great thing there isn't. So anyone watching this who's a school teacher or works in the education system anywhere around the country, obviously this program was run primarily in Victoria, but I'm sure that GoodWe will open that up nationally if there's enough demand, and hopefully get some state support in there as well, and it's just an amazing thing. John, on the program, so most organizations would have left it just at educating the kids at the school. They'd gone there, delivered the workshop and said, great, we've done our bit, we've got our brand out there, the kids will go home, tell the parents all about it. We're going to sell a few more inverters and batteries and EV chargers. But you guys did not leave it there. You then challenged the kids to come up, taking the knowledge they'd learned, come up with their own innovation, their own projects, be it poems, songs, massive models, in some cases, working models, art. It was absolutely incredible. Can you talk to me a little bit more about the submissions that the kids designed and came up with?
Yeah, so again, we didn't want to leave the program just at a school visit. We wanted the kids to act upon it, do things, and whether they did it in their own time. Some schools actually made it part of their curriculum. No kids were going to do this in class, which was fantastic. So we challenged them with a competition for each grade to come up with something that promoted a positive environmental message or something that they learnt from the workshops. And like I say, the submissions were pretty breathtaking. Even from the younger ages, we had digital entries, presentations, videos. One kid came up with a hydroponics model that was solar powered. One kid came up with a zero carbon footprint coffee manufacturing facility and business model. This is just mind blowing stuff. These kids are in primary school and they're coming up with these concepts. Songs, baking. Again, we didn't want to limit it and we didn't want to treat it as a talent contest. We just purely wanted imagination and creativity and ideas. And that's what we got. And it was great to see because you could see like the parents were proud as well. You could see like, oh, go on, you could do this, I'll help you film it, that kind of thing. It was just really rewarding to see. And then we had a panel of judges review all the entries. I think I'm looking at one right now.
Yes.
Proud to have Energy Matters as one of the partners, along with the Forever Reef project as well. That was extremely important to us because it's a real world example of how all these different things come together. And I think the kids latched onto that because the barrier reef obviously is very, very visual. So yeah, the competition, we rewarded them with prizes. So went to the schools, presented the first, second, and third place winners of each grade, and the finalists, the winners, all came to an annual awards event, which was held previously at the Melbourne Home Show, and we had all of our judges there, parents, teachers. And James Treble was kind enough to host the event for us, where we could present the kids, all the finalists, with additional prizes and certificates to recognize and celebrate what they'd achieved, but also award some champions as well. One for grades 2 to 4, one's for grade 5 to 6, just to make it as fair as possible. We didn't want the younger kids' entries to be judged against the older kids' entries. We just wanted to keep everything as fair as we could and just make it as rewarding as possible for the kids who took part. So yeah, we've been doing that for the past 2 years. Last year we doubled in scale, which was a lot of work. I think the school you visited, we were there for 2 days, and yeah, my voice was non-existent by the end of it. But it was just great because you see what the schools do with it and how they utilize it. So they make it part of their school assemblies, so other teachers and other kids can see and parents can see what's been going on. They made it part of parents' open evenings, so it invites the wider community to come and see what the kids have been up to. School newsletters, whatever it may be, it's just fantastic. And as I say, it's there for everyone to benefit from. We're not limiting it in any way. We don't necessarily have to be there. It can be delivered digitally because it's low carbon footprint and there is no cost involved.
So on that note, so what's the natural evolution for this program? Are you looking to maybe for the next stage or a few stages ahead, just have it more as a virtual educational program that people can log into, get access to, and almost teachers can kind of almost use the IP that you guys have designed, developed, and use that inside of their own schools directly to the kids?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be used in a variety of ways, which is how we designed it. We didn't want to limit it to just us having a limited amount of time to go into schools and do it. Obviously, we've got working with children permits for Victoria, but the logistics of doing it in every state, it may not always be feasible. And of course, we want to lower our carbon footprint, so we can't always take our vehicle everywhere as well. So the beauty is it can be delivered digitally by a teacher, by a youth group. It could be done in Scouts, Girl Guides, whatever it may be. And it can be used in a variety of ways. And even my colleagues in different regional parts of the world, they're now delivering it in areas of Europe and Africa and India, which is great to see. And they're adapting the program in different ways. It's very flexible. So that's the aim of it. It's for everyone to benefit from. And we're there to provide that resource. I mean, additionally, we did something on a smaller scale with the First Nations community last year, and they had a little solar disco and created some artwork based on what they had. So they had a solar system installed in their community deep in the heart of the Northern Territory. And we went along to donate some stuff and gifts and prizes to the school and the kids so they could just celebrate their new solar system and learn a bit more about it as well. So that's the nature of the program, really.
Absolutely incredible, mate. Well, I was super inspired, actually being at the school and seeing the program being delivered. It certainly helped me educate my own child, and she loved going through the program. So I wouldn't say she's a little professor at renewable energy right now, but she's certainly knows 10 times more than she knew beforehand, and makes it easier for me to impart my knowledge onto her. So thank you so much for that. And although I wasn't there personally at the awards, Nicole was there in my place, and it looked amazing. And I'm really excited to see that on TV this week, because James Treble is an amazing co-host and an incredible presenter, and his energy on stage is just ridiculously good. So
it's infectious, and everyone enjoys it, and it's just a lovely way to celebrate the program at the end as well. And this year we're looking to do it in Cairns and Port Douglas, close to where the Barrier Reef team operate. So we're really looking forward to taking it further afield as well and letting more kids participate.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, John, thank you so much for joining me today. I do appreciate it. And for everyone watching, today's episode, you want to tune in this Saturday at 4 p.m. This is going to be an incredible episode, so inspiring. If you have got kids, and they're not out there playing with their mates, get them to come home before 4 p.m. and sit them down in front of the television and give them a free education. Because the content that we'll be showing on this TV show is not only entertaining, but it's so informative, and it'll have you realize even any small thing that you can do differently can help us reduce our carbon footprint, and for you, reduce your energy bills. So get the whole family involved. That's what we certainly do, and we can all make a difference together. John, thank you so much once again for joining us. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Roshan. Appreciate the time, and I can't wait for the episode.
Thanks, mate. So, guys, obviously, it's been down here the entire episode. Saturday, 4 p.m. on 9 Life. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be an incredible episode of Energy Matters. And if you do miss it, there is going to be some encores throughout the week, and on 9 now, a week later. But watch it live. It's the best way to go. For any of you that have yet to go solar power, but really want to find out other ways of reducing, your energy bill, jump onto our website at energymatters.com.au. We've got so much information on there, as well as all the TV segments that you'll be seeing on live television will also be housed on our website too. So you can kind of have a look at all the different brands. Jump onto the GoodWe page, because GoodWe has some incredible technology, inverters, batteries, EV chargers, you name it, they have it. And it's just incredible tech designed for both homes and for businesses. So once again, jump on, read all about them, check out their videos, check out the different technology being used in context, and make your own choice. If you do actually want to get a quote to go solar, add a battery to an existing solar system, or add an EV charger, then by all means you can click onto this link below, and you can also then get a quote or several quotes for the same type of products or product mix to install in your home or business. And then with that information, you can make your own choice. Thank you once again for joining me. I do appreciate it. Check out this week's episode of Energy Matters on 9 Life, 4 p.m. on Saturday, and I can't wait to see you next time. All the best.